Okay. What's up, YouTube? My name is Floyd. This is Floyd's Tech Reviews, and today I'm just going to be talking to you about why the Apple Watch SE was more makes the most sense to buy over the Apple Watch Series 6 or the Apple Watch Series 5 for that matter. So let's get on into it, shall we? Alright, so I have a list pretty much that I'm just going to be reading off of and comparing the two. You can find this comparison on Apple's website if you want. And I'm just going to be sharing my thoughts on the Apple Watch. I actually got the Apple Watch SE about 3-4 days ago. And there's more videos to come on the Apple Watch SE. But I'm just going to share with you like my mindset as of why I got the SE over the Series 6. So first, starting with the price, all these prices are going to be from the smaller Apple Watches. If you want to know the price of the bigger Apple Watch, just add $20 more to the prices that I'm reading now. So the Apple Watch SE, GPS and cellular, starting out at $330, and the GPS only is $280. You got the Series 6 starting out at $500 for the cellular and $400 for the GPS only. And so between the Series 6 and the SE cellular version, there's about $170 gap in between the two. And for the GPS only, you're looking at about $120 gap between the two. If you're one of those people that buy your watches from your carrier, like Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, they only sell the cellular version of their watches. So there's no way for you to get the GPS, obviously. They want to sell you their services as well. So you have to opt in for the more expensive watch. And that's what I did. I got my watch from T-Mobile. I want to be able to use my Apple Pay from my watch and without my phone if I ever need to, or stream Spotify because I don't use Apple Music. If I go on a walk, I can use my data on my watch and stream Spotify, which I'll go into that on another video. That's a video within itself for that very thing that Apple's doing. But to compare the two, like for the sake of this argument, I'm going to be comparing it with the cellular versions because I feel like most people would get the cellular over the GPS because you don't have to pay it all at once. If you get multiple Apple Watches, it comes out to be cheaper up front and things like that. So $170, and the only difference is the ECG, blood oxygen, always on display. And always on display, I feel like is the most debatable topic between the two. And I just want to come at it from this angle. I've had about 5 different smartwatches. So I've had watches with always on display, and I have the ones with without them. And even when I have always on display, I tend to turn the always on display off. Simple reason being I need to save battery life. It's cool the first week or so because you're new to the watch. You're always playing around with it. You know, you want to figure out, you know, new features and stuff like that. But after that honeymoon phase is over, you're not too concerned about your watch face being on all the time. You're more concerned with, okay, it's the end of my work shift. Why is my watch dead or close to dying? You don't want to have a wearable tech that's dying on you by the end of your shift. You want to have a little bit of wiggle room in case you want to go to the grocery store or do whatever you do after your work shift. You don't want, you know, your thing to be dead. So I feel like battery life is more important than always on display. And if you're gonna pay extra for the always on display and then just turn it off anyway, it doesn't really make sense to me to pay that extra money. So for me, logically, it makes more sense to pay for the cheaper or the more price conscious Apple Watch SE over the Series 6. And then you got the ECG. I kind of breezed over that. For the average Joe like myself, you're not going to be using the ECG. Funny story, I had the Galaxy Watch Active 2 for 2 years, and I made a video on that ECG. I was mad about Samsung saying the ECG was going to be coming out, and it never came out, and you know, there's like a whole thing about it, but then they finally released it, And I tried it out once the update came out, just because it's finally came and I wanted to see what it was. And I did it. First of all, it doesn't happen nearly as fast as they show it on the commercials. On the ads in the commercials, they'll show it like when it's down to like 1 second or 2 seconds and the guy's already done the ECG. It takes way longer. Like, you have to sit there with your finger on your watch for a good 30 seconds. You can't talk, you can't move, and you just got to look at it and wait for it to do what it does. And it's just dumb. It's stupid to me. It's you're paying extra for something that you're not going to use. Like, granted, some people may need an ECG for health reasons, but most people, the average person, you're not going to need it. And even those people that do need it, it's not really an accurate representation of what you're looking for. So it's not worth it. It's more of a gimmicky feature. So the only thing that Apple could try to sway you to get the more expensive watch is pretty much status and for the always on display. And they could have technically turned on the always on display with the Apple Watch SE, because they literally have the same screen between the Series 5, Series 6, and the SE. Heck, even the Series 4, they could have turned on always on display. But they opted out to do it, especially on the Series SE, just to make the Series 6 seem more appealing and make this little debate happen in the first place. But if it wasn't for the always on display, if the Series SE had the always on display and the older chip, it has the Series 5 chip in there as well. I forgot to mention that. It has the Series 5 chip, Series 6 has Series 6. Most people that have the Apple Watch Series 5 are not getting the Series 6. If the SE had the always on display, it's pretty much the same watch as the Series 5. So there would be literally no reason to get the Series 6. I don't know. It's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. It's kind of confusing whenever you get, all mixed in there together. But Apple, for the SEs, they're usually for the more price conscious customers. So you're not running out there getting the latest and greatest or the most flagship watch out there, which, it's a watch. You're not going to be doing nothing crazy on there anyway. If it's a phone, I get it if you're trying to get all the specs, all the speed or whatever. But it's a watch. You're just checking it for the time, checking it for the dates. If you're filling out a form or something, you need to check the time and the date real quick. It's good for simple stuff like that, notifications without pulling your phone out your pocket. But you don't need a powerful processor for that. Most people still use the Series 2 watch or Series 3 and they're getting by just fine. So having the year before processor into a Series SE isn't that big of a deal. So that's my 2 cents on the matter. So yeah, if you're debating on getting the SE or the Series 6, I would just suggest getting the cheaper SE. But if you got money, obviously, then go for it. Spend the extra 170 or 120 if you're just getting the GPS. But to me, it's not worth it. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. I got some more videos coming for the Apple Watch SE. I got some comparison coming between the Galaxy watches and the Apple Watch SE as well, and why I prefer one over the other. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for coming, checking out my video, and I'll see y'all when I drop my next video, probably in about a week or so.